What's going on, everyone? MikeO back, doing a mail day recap, and it's been a while. This is mail that is built up for 5 weeks, 6 weeks, probably at least 6 weeks. It's been quite a while since I've done one of these recaps, and stuff has just built up. Not that I've gone crazy buying stuff, because in preparation for the National, definitely wasn't going berserk, but was still looking, still picking some stuff up. And since the National, haven't gone crazy, but again, when you get to 6 weeks, it builds up a bit. So, going to show off some pickups and talk a little bit about the hobby as we roll along. Certainly has been a very busy few weeks in the hobby. You had the National, you had all of that craziness going on, and then just when you thought things were calming down, you had the PWCC news, which, whatever, I don't think there's much of a surprise that it finally happened. I mean, yes, it's definitely big news. For me personally, I would buy some stuff via PWCC, but mostly more common Phillies that were pre-war, vintage, stuff like that. PWCC definitely had a really good setup. In terms of eBay, they just categorized things and they broke things down day by day and hour by hour very well. So it was definitely easy to find some pre-war stuff. But you know what? For me, I had a price in mind and I was looking for certain items cheaper. That's the price I paid. Never got involved in bidding wars. So that came and went. Then, of course, you had the Topps news too, which, when I heard that, it bothered me a lot, and it kind of upset me, but, you give it some time, and we still don't know how it's going to play out, so we'll see. It could be a good thing. It could be a horrible thing. We'll find out in the next few years, but we have plenty of Topps products coming up, so we'll see what happens with Fanatics in the future there. I personally have never bought anything from Fanatics. When I've gone on their website, I do find it to be very highly priced, and the stuff they have isn't really stuff that strongly interests me personally. But if they're producing baseball cards, I'm sure I'm going to be involved in that in some way, shape, or form. Anyway, all the mail, the stuff that's built up. Let's look. We've got a few gifts. We got some Topps Now stuff, some singles, some vintage breaks, a lot of slabs of different brands. So we are going to start rolling through some of this, and we'll see what we got here. So let's start with some slabs. We'll start with some PSA slabs. Here's a PSA 1954 Bowman Granny Hamner. Near mint 7. You see the fielding average. So they would correct errors back in the day. So that's just an identifier of which version this one is. I forget offhand what the other numbers are, but higher grade at 54 Bowman card, and it was very cheap. And by the way, of course, we'll have a lot of Phillies cards in this video for sure. 2020 Finest Flashbacks, Bryce Harper Gold Refractor, and a PSA Mint 9. Bought this one on Twitter, I believe, which is not something I do very often, but just happened to see a post, and the price, I thought, specifically considering the cost and weight on PSA slabs, and to me, how fantastic this design is, I had to jump on it for sure, and it's a beautiful card. Finest. We'll see what happens in the future. Will there be more Finest Flashbacks? Finest? Who knows? Of course, at the time of recording this video, recently news also dropped that the NBA and NBA Players Association have signed on with Fanatics, so Panini will be out on that, and, we'll see. It doesn't really affect me because I don't really buy basketball much, but it's definitely interesting news. Here's a 2021 Topps Yadi Molina Rainbow Foil in a CSG 9. This is a reholder. It was a mislabel by CSG. But, the thing with the Fanatics news, Again, we'll see how things are distributed. We'll see how costs go. And we'll just see what they do. If they start all their own brands, that will disappoint me. But I'm sure they'll do some stuff that I will like. And I'm sure they'll do some stuff I will dislike. Something big that could happen is if they do start buying properties, we could see Topps football return. We could see Upper Deck baseball return. We could see fully licensed Panini Prism. We'll see. Will they buy all the companies? It's a possibility. Will they buy one or some of them? It's a possibility. Will they buy none of them? Again, possibility. But there's a lot of things that can happen. So it's one of those, we're a few years away. 2022 will be unaffected completely. Maybe start to see some things change in 2023, but no reason to go bonkers about things you can't control. That's definitely for sure. So we'll just have to follow the news cycle and see how things develop. Here's a pickup. 2020 Topps Luminaries, Bryce Harper, Home Run Kings auto, blue, 1/5, 9/5 on the card, 10 on the auto. Be honest, this is just one I was following. Just kind of saw it. I hit the watch button on a lot of stuff that I'm like, oh, that's cool. And this isn't a card that blows me away. I mean, it's cool. It's a Harper auto, Phillies auto. So always have interest in it. I personally, for a Luminaries product, would never take them out and get them graded, but they did. And honestly, it was like 10 minutes left in the auction. I was like, wow, that is way too cheap. Threw a bid at the last moment, won it. I can't remember exactly what the price was, but it went really cheap, so I was like, whatever. Picked it up, figured I don't mind having it in the collection, and then to combine shipping, I picked up this Ted Williams 1957 Topps in a 2.5. Already have an SGC 5, and I currently own a PSA 5, even though that is out for consignment. This one is not perfect. There's definitely, you can't see it too much on camera. I mean, if you mix in the reflections, you can kind of see there is a crease that runs across here. And it certainly has some centering issues, but again, got it at a price that I was like, you know what? Doesn't bother me to own an extra one, and I feel like I could always use it as like trade bait or something in the future. We'll see. All right, here's a big pickup. This is a card that's been on my want list for a while. It's a 2012 Topps card 661 Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper batting. Super short print. I know many have said it's shorter printed than like the Acuna bat down. This one's an SGC 9. I had my eye on this at the National. I found 2 at the show. And I looked quite a bit. I found one PSA 10 the guy wanted $2,400 for, which to me was outrageous. And I saw one BGS 9.5. The guy had like $1,200 on it. So, I've been checking eBay. Not a lot out there. Most that you run into are BGS. This is actually the first SGC I ever ran into. But the guy put this one up. I offered less than half of what he had it listed for, and I was just waiting to get a counter, just kind of see what he was looking for, and he accepted. I was kind of surprised. So I was able to get this one at a pretty good price. If Bryce continues to play well over the next 10 years and can compile enough numbers and can find his way into the Hall of Fame, I mean, he's certainly no sure bet, but he is on a path where he has that opportunity. I think this will be a pretty big card in the future. And, as a Harper collector, it's definitely a big card that I wanted to add. So happy about that for sure. And was able to save substantially by going with the SGC 9. And I'm cool with it. I mean, sure, I'd love a 10, but he's very expensive in a 10. I'm not a huge Beckett guy. And I was open to PSA 9, PSA 8. I probably would have even considered. But the thing is, if you see a deal that you think is a good deal, you can always pull the trigger, and you can always find another card or something different maybe at some point. And, it's one of those things that you can't go wrong if you're getting a solid deal and you think, it's something you want in your collection. Obviously, players rise and fall and stuff like that. That's always something that's going to happen. But if it's not a investment beyond your collection, it's hard to go too wrong, especially on a card that's hard to find. All right, here's some cheap pickups. 1999 Flair Showcase Legacy Collection, Row 2, Rico Brogna. In a BGS 8, that is numbered to 99. Flair Showcase, sweet product. First few years a little better than later years, but picked up some Phillies nice and cheap. Here's a BGS 8.5 of Bobby Abreu. Took a beating on the surface. Nice Abreu. And a Doug Glanville. So Phillies fans will appreciate that one. BGS 9. That's another one from 1999. So some cool slabs there. We also got the 1928 Exhibits, James Ring in a VG3. Gotta love the old school exhibits. Jimmy Ring. We've got some Project 70 pickups. We got Uncle Larry. Sweet Andrew McCutcheon. We've got a Mike Schmidt. City skyline in the background. Got a Bryce Harper. Just kind of picked this one up for the Phillies. Definitely not my favorite type of artwork, but interesting for sure. A lot of different numbers in there. Got the Philly fanatic beard on them, so certainly interesting for sure. All right, some other purchases. Roy Oswalt. Ginter Auto from Archive Signature Series. Was able to pick up a few of these. Haven't gone crazy with this year's. Few I needed, though. Barry Zito. And here's a cool pickup. I'm a big fan of this one. I know there's a lot of Twins fans out there. Dustin and Blake Dystemic. This is a sweet Joe Maurer. 2013 Ginter, one of my favorite looking sets. Joe Maurer had an excellent career. All right, see the box here. I did break one box of Archive Signature Series. Hit Juan Gonzalez. Was disappointed. I mean, I like Juan Gonzalez, and he had a great career, so I have no problem adding another Juan Gonzalez to the collection. He's just a really common autograph signer. Not only is he in a lot of products and like Signature Series, and have I gotten him in the past, but like I've gotten him via TTM a number of times, so you're not going to win very often when you break stuff, and that's just another example, but it's not terrible. Here's a clearly authentic first pickup of the year, John Kruk. Made a number of fills that I'd like to add to the collection, and a number of Hall of Famers. I always like clearly authentic. I think they look pretty cool. Was able to pick up the Kruk. These cost about $75 to $90 a box for one card. I was able to pick up the John Kruk in like the $20 range, so that's a cool one, and I'm sure you'll see some of my fellow Phillies collectors copycat that purchase. I can see that coming up. All right, what else do we have to shelf? Here's a few gifts that came in. I believe this one is from Lee. Lee sent me a few Harpers, which is cool. This one I think is, what is this from? This is from like opening day preview card for the sticker collection, so I did not have that. I did have one of these. Lee, appreciate it. And then these are from my boy Big Scott 35. Hooked me up with a McCutcheon and a Gregorius Piedmont variation on the Didi. So very cool. Big Scott 35. Check out his channel. Check out his Let's Talk. Just did a sizable episode, a fun episode, really interesting episode with Ed Wesker Griff. So it was awesome to see. Virtual reality insert from Stadium Club with Bryce Harper. JT Real Muto foil. Cabrian Hayes Pops Charlie Hayes. That's from Topps Archives. and then a Bryce Harper 52 Topps Redux, which I like. This one isn't the 52 though. This is the 65, and that's out of Topps Series 2. But awesome card. I love the throwbacks, and that's a thing with Topps. I mean, I've seen some videos from some people that, I tune in just to kind of listen to what they have to say, but they're more into the basketball, football market, and they're those guys that, have popped into the hobby in the last 2 or 3 years. And I've heard a few of them say, like, oh, Topps just reuses the same old designs. They're lazy. There have been a lot of polls that show, one of the most important things for baseball collectors in general, one of their favorite things is nostalgia and tradition and all that. Like, there's a reason Topps puts out old school inserts, and they put out Topps Heritage, and they put out Topps Archives and stuff like that, because people love the old school designs. They can't get enough of it. They buy them every year, and I'm one of them. I enjoy that. So I do think, even though Panini, Prism, like, that's the most popular ultra modern product, I don't think there's that many people who are like married to collecting just that. Like, they collect it right now because they like the shiny stuff, and that's what they've heard is the most expensive stuff. I think it's much more important for fanatics going forward to, at least baseball wise, to try and find a way to involve that Topps brand, because again, you're talking about 70 years of history, and you're talking about iconic designs, and that brand name. I mean, Panini might be the more valuable company at this moment, but I think the Topps brand is much more important to the hobby in general. At least that's my take on it. All right, let's take a look at some vintage pickups. These are all from breaks that I did, group breaks, set breaks. So a lot of commons mixed in for the most part. Ken Harrelson, announcer for the White Sox Sweet Alkaline. Definitely condition issues, but these look great. I put them generally in the semi-rigids, and they just look awesome in the collection. Roger Craig, good name there. Willie Jones, that one would look nice in the Wesker Griff PC. Frank Robinson. Here's an awesome one, Clemente and Hank Aaron. These batting leader cards are sweet. So a lot of sweet cards there. Ruben Amaro Sr. So those were some of the more common hits. Some other stuff. Got a few play balls. Daffy Dean and Chubby Dean. A few Deans. 54 Topps came holdered up, but did not do great in that one. Herman Smith. Let's see. Preston Ward. Kipper. Some A's cards. Nice Cardinals card. You usually get some Hall of Famers in there. Ken Boyer. Billy Williams. So it didn't do terrible. I do have a big card down here that I did hit. Again, not a card I needed, but a pretty cool card. All right, got some Topps Now cards that have finally rolled in. McCutchen, Hoskins. I basically pick up one of all the Phillies cards, and now I buy them mostly on the secondary market. Rare occasions, I will order directly from Topps. If I got a few guys that are interested in getting in on a card, there's a Brad Miller, but those all go in the Phillies collection binder. Here's a nice museum collection patch of Zach Wheeler, numbered to 25. I was able to win that one cheap, $4 or $5. Orange refractor Bryce Harper from Allen and Ginter Chrome. McCutchen image variation from Topps. If you guys hit image variations of Phillies, the more common ones, and you're looking to move them, feel free to message me, because I'm definitely always looking to add them to the collection. Here's a Bryce Harper foil parallel from Ginter. Rhys Hoskins image variation from a few years ago. Cool Sapphire pickup. Picked up the Ken Griffey Jr. Big fan of that. Chrome update Sapphire last year. It's too expensive to break based on the prices it goes for, but there are some cool cards in there. few Harper refractors. Bryce Harper, finest orange refractor to 25. And a Zach Wheeler orange refractor from 2020 Topps Allen Ginter Chrome. Wheeler has had a fantastic year. This is another card I hit in one of the set breaks. It's Sid Hudson from 41 Play Ball. This one is autographed and slabbed by SGC and JSA. And then another hit I had in one of those breaks was a 65 Cardinals rookies featuring Steve Carlton. So I had actually bought one of these raw at an auction a couple months ago and sent it in to SGC and got it graded. And now I have another one, and I have a PSA 3. So I have a couple Carlton rookies now. And then the final pickups, you can see here in the background, 1967 Dexter Press Premiums. Cookie Rojas in a 4, huge slab. And then I also have a 1967 Dexter Press, Johnny Callison Premiums in a PSA 1. Pick these up, nice and cheap. Less than $10 a piece. To get these slabbed right now, God knows how long you'd have to wait and how long they'd cost. But I know in the jumbo holders now are very expensive. I'm thinking they'd be like $50 to grade in the future, at the very least, if not more expensive, just based on the size alone. So I'm happy to add those to the collection. So that's it for the mail. Big pile of stuff, fun stuff, a lot of things happening in the hobby, and I don't think there's any reason to freak out over the Fanatics thing. I mean, it certainly brings up the possibility that some of our favorite brands go away for the foreseeable future. I'm sure places like Topps could still produce certain products, but we all know it wouldn't be the same. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We could see some brands resurrected that we'll be thrilled about. We could see some being altered in ways that wouldn't make us real happy. But again, it's years away. You just got to enjoy the hobby. Got to enjoy collecting. Pick up some singles on the secondary market. And, see how things develop. All right, everyone, comment below. Let me know what you think. And I'll talk to you next time. Have a great one.